Hey, it's Noctis. Subscribe to Vincent Valentine EX Turk channel.
What's up, guys? It's your King Knight Vincent Valentine EX Turk, and we're going to be exposing a character from the Final Fantasy franchise, mostly the one in the Fabula Crystallis Novia expressly, from Final Fantasy XIII's lore. The goddess of death, the Etro. And not the lightning Etro. Remember, lightning took her place and kind of restored the balance. And ended up saving the world and correcting Etro's mistakes. Because Etro was not a good goddess. People often get it confused. Etro put a curse on Yule that made her die and get reborn and die, which upset Caius when, well, Caius really loves people that are really close to him. Let's put it this way. You mess with his homies. I don't envy your fate at all. But nonetheless, to start this off, I guess the very first mistake would be when she helped in the creation of the Foul Sea, because the Foul Sea were overseers. And if you don't remember, in Final Fantasy XIII Original, Bard Tandalonis, Orphan, and pretty much the Foul Sea were bad guys. But even go way before Final Fantasy XIII with Cid, Arulstein, one of the Foul Seas as well. The Foul Sea turned bad in Type 0. And Final Fantasy XIII, even though those were indirectly, because the Foul Sea chooses their own path and they have their own goals. Foul Sea has their own pretty much goals and pretty much their own way of doing things. There's good Foul Sea and bad Foul Sea, but the Foul Sea we know in Type 0, which is Cid Arulstein, and the Foul Sea we know in Final Fantasy XIII, Bard Tandalonis mainly, because, well, he is Orphan, if you didn't know that before, so it don't really count since he's part of Orphan's consciousness. Orphan's consciousness turned out to be bad, which I guess that's not really a mistake, because, well, you can't make your kids behave. You can't make your kids behave. You know, if you get a bad seed, you got a bad seed. That's just how it is. You know, you got a little devil child that just acts bad. That's just gonna happen. It's like dating, like baby's kids. But nonetheless, let's continue on with this theory video. Another thing for another reason why Etro is a bad goddess. All this stuff, we go fast forward Final Fantasy XIII and go to 13-2. Because she put the curse on Yule, that made Caius mad. And now Etro had to appoint a successor, and she has appointed Lightning as the successor. And this was like so many years after the first one. And she became the guardian of Valhalla. But that's why Caius went after Lightning, because since Lightning is the new Etro, the same curse that the old Etro has put on Yule transfers to goes back to retransfers if she is replaced with a new Etro. And hence why Caius went to kill Lightning. So that was, again, all the fault of Etro. Yet again, Etro is responsible for that. So pretty much all the bad events that happened in Final Fantasy XIII-2 with Caius destroying timelines, that caused Caius to get desperate to the point where he ended up destroying timelines. This once good man became corrupted and evil because, well, you went and messed with his family. You went and messed with people he cared about. I mean, what can I say? So, and then even with that, you got Lightning killed, your successor, because Lightning has to take the responsibility for all the crimes you committed there. So yeah, I'm talking about you, Etro. You are a bad goddess. You are horrible. You know, even though you keep the balance, which Lightning was better at that. And you know, if you didn't know anything about Final Fantasy Lightning's Return, same thing. You know, same thing. It's a chain event because Lightning's Return wouldn't have never happened. Because if the goddess Etro is destroyed, and even the successor as well, it awakens the god Benevelza. And not only that, Benevelza got to see the destruction Caius caused, thus causing the end of the world. So, we can thank Etro for doing that. We can thank her for getting the world almost destroyed. Of course, Lightning overpowered Benevelza and pretty much returned everything to normal. Now, she didn't take up the mantle of Benevelza or Etro at this point. But Caius pretty much became the god of the underworld, which kind of works because, well, Caius has done too much, so he's doomed to live in the underworld after everything he's done, of course. Thanks again to Etro! Who else but Etro? I'm gonna make that a meme. Who else but Etro? So, all the bad things that happened in Final Fantasy XIII 3, or the correct enunciation for that game, Lightning's Return, was caused by Etro because it was a chain effect after the events of Final Fantasy XIII 2. And here's where we're going to get controversial, and I'm going to be known as a crazy Final Fantasy theorist who pretty much don't get no pussy at all for this one because, you know, because I'm nuts, I'm crazy, you know. But no, I'm not. Just kidding. I'm not. JK. But the point, you know, but this is where the point I'm trying to say is this is where it's going to get the most controversial between the Final Fantasy fan base. But she's also responsible for Final Fantasy 15. Whether you follow it as Versus 13 or whether you follow it as its new canon, it is proven that the Fabula, Crystallis, Novi is the Final Fantasy 15. So, what that means is, like my theory suggests, the Pitios Ruins was a temple for Etro. Because of Etro's curse living on in the temple because I guess some fragments of Etro was bought into that temple somehow. Because now there is no Etro and no Benevelza. And I guess to some extent, even though Etro was an evil goddess, you still needed to have Etro in there and Benevelza in there, because now, thus comes the end of the world. The signs are there. The Pitios Ruins ruined the town of the Etro village, and pretty much turned the Pitios Ruins what it is. And the Pitios Ruins, if you didn't know what it is, it's the origin of the Star Scourge. It's the origin of all the bad things to happen in Final Fantasy 15, such as the story of Ifrit, the downfall of Arden, all started in the Pitios. Was started within the Pitios Ruins, which used to be a temple of Etros. So Etro's curse, even though there's no more Etros or successor to Etros, Etro's curse follows them through 15, follows them years and years and millions of years after. So the Pitios Ruins, even though I don't know how, because this is the world that Benevelza has created after Pulse has been destroyed, but I guess maybe part of Lightning is part of Etro or something like that, or I don't know, something like that, or there's a fragment of Etro in that ruins. But the Etro curse caused the Star Scourge because it caused the downfall of Ifrit, because Eos is actually would be the third incarnation of Etro. And her crime, the third Etro after Lightning, which is in 15, and it's Eos. They just changed it to Eos. Eos gave birth to 2 humans, and that was Izunia Lucius Caelium and Arden Lucius Caelium. She got killed in the Pitios Ruins. So also, it amplified the curse of Etro in the Pitios ruins after she was sent there to be killed in the prison and tied up and left there to die for long periods of time. And Ifrit found out. Ifrit wasn't happy with the humans. Thus, the Star Scourge started happening. Arden found out what happened to his mother, because they pretty much both share the same mother, because Eos gave birth to the Lucius Kylan bloodline. Hence why the Lucius Kylan bloodline must die. They cannot exist because they're Nephilim by Eos, the third incarnation of Etro. So this could also mean that maybe Eos is not as good of a good guy as she's not a good guy as we thought. She pretty much has the same kind of personality as the other Etros, except Lightning Etro, because Lightning Etro was the good Etro. But she probably has the personalities of the original, because the original put curses on people who didn't believe in her, or had her followers kill people that didn't believe in her. The second one was the second Etro, which was Lightning, was the good Etro, was the very good Etro. And she didn't do nothing, she tried to put balance to the world, but, couldn't do it in that position because Benevelza. And the third Etro, which is Eos, messed up the entire world of Lucis by breeding with humans. And if you know anything about biblical literature, an angel and God or a devil or any of that cannot breed with a human being, because if you breed and you make kids, the kids will either turn out bad or they'll turn out cursed. Even though everyone in the Lucius Kylan family was not bad, the only bad members of the Lucius Kylan was Arden. They're still a forbidden bloodline, and so they're cursed, thanks to the originator, by Eos. And in the original version, verses 13, the Lucius Kylan bloodline worship Etro, the goddess of death. In this version, they worship Eos. So what could that tell you? Eos is the third Etro that carries some of the personality traits, of the first Etro, thus messing up the world. So Noctis had to give his own life. The last blood member of the Lucius Kylan family had to give his life up. He made a big sacrifice, and he had to get the power to defeat Arden, but even then he would still have to kill himself on the fact that it was because of the curse of Etro, Arden would keep coming back, because it takes the sacrifice of all the Lucius Kylans to get rid of the Ring of Lucii, which keeps bringing Arden back to the world, because Arden is the Star Scourge, and the Star Scourge is really the curse of Etro. So this is why I think Etro is the true villain, because each Etro has their own thing. The only good Etro was Lightning, and so but the first and third one were the evilest of all. They put the world in the state that became. And the Astrals are nothing but fal'Cie, created by the third Etro, Eos. But Noctis Lucius Kylan had to give up his whole entire life anyways to get rid of the Ring of Lucii and the Curse of Etro, and put an end to the Etro lineage once and for all. So tell me what you think about this theory. Do you think it's possible that she's responsible for everything in the Fabula Crystallis Novia? Let me know in the comments below. Share this video. And I know this sounds crazy, but just open your mind and try to examine every little word I say in there.
Can't keep my dick in my pants. Ayy, my bitch don't love me no more. Ayy, she kicked me out on life, bro.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Yeah. Ayy. Yeah. Ayy. Yeah. Ayy. Yeah.